Hello, I'm a Spanish native who has been learning English for more than 3 years, Japanese for 13 months, and I'm a Galaxy athlete. These two hobbies are why I wanted to use discipline to language learning. I finished watching Full Metal Alchemist one day ago, and I can say pretty confidently that I had an overall of 90% of comprehension, and towards the end, it was more like 95%. So I'll summarize in the shortest amount of time possible what I did these 13 months because I think that people can reach my same results within way less time. These 4 first months, I will consider that were kind of a waste in terms of efficiency. I studied just 2 hours this book called Remembering the Kanji. I mean, I guess it taught me a lot of meanings, radicals, and how to work kanji. I would really recommend people to actually use this book, but definitely I would recommend to couple it with whatever grammar book or guide you want to use. The author recommends that if you want to study kanjis, you should do his method alone without studying other things. However, at this point I couldn't disagree more. I think that if I were to couple this book with grammar and studying vocabulary since the start, I could have achieved the same result in like 8 to 10 months. Also, I noticed that by this point, all of the 2000 kanjis I learned during these 4 months I forgot, and ended up learning the meanings of most kanjis through just pure immersion. I think it did speed up my acquisition of words, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that it was an incredible amount. Basically, the way this book teaches you kanjis is really great. However, please make sure to do it coupled with at least grammar studies, for the reason that learning how kanjis are used will be super useful when using the book, and if you couple it with learning vocabulary or learning grammar just like 3 to 4 hours daily, in 3 to 4 months you'll be immersing with a really great pace. In summary, you will not waste 2 months as I did. Here went through a grammar guide. It is actually totally free and it's called the Kim's Grammar Guide. There's some discussion saying that this grammar guide is not that useful and that you can skip a lot of parts, which yeah, you can. I actually skipped some, but besides that, it really teaches you all the basics and there's nothing for free that could be compared. I will even dare to say that it's even better than the Genki books. I will recommend it a ton. Now make sure that before you start learning grammar, you learn hiragana katakana first. By this point, I already knew the 12 habits during the first 4 months, so if I'm being honest, it shouldn't take you more than a week. If you decided to study grammar with this guide, there's 3 essential levels: basic grammar, essential grammar, and special grammar. There's actually another one called advanced topics, which you can skip honestly. Those are things that you can learn through immersion if you get tired of studying grammar. What you'll do now is that you will go through basic and essential grammar before starting to the immersion. So when you finish essential grammar, you'll do at least 1 to 2 hours of immersion daily, and you'll try to find out through immersion the grammar points you have studied before. So I would recommend watching animes you want to watch here, but honestly it can be anything, and it needs to specifically be in Japanese, always audio and subtitles. So don't be dumb and put English subtitles because you're literally doing nothing. It's the same as going to the gym, training for 10 minutes with 3 kg barbells, and going to your house saying that you did a good work. So yeah, not gonna work. Going through basic and essential grammar shouldn't take you more than a month if you are studying at least 2 to 3 lessons a day. I will actually link in the description a deck for Anki that you can use to memorize some of the more important lessons on the guide as well. Now you just have to go through special expressions while doing immersion until you finish this level, with the same amount of intensity, 2 to 3 lessons of grammar daily and immersing in full Japanese for 1 or 2 hours. At last, I didn't do this, but I figured it will make your progress go faster. On top of studying just the Anki deck to memorize the lessons, go through this other deck that almost all of us learning Japanese have went through, the Core 2K 6K Japanese deck, which I haven't even finished it yet. But if you can at least learn N words a day on top of the Anki deck for the lessons during these 2 first months before you start doing immersion seriously, it will make your content much more enjoyable and you won't be as lost as I was. Simply start doing immersion with every piece of content you find in your interest. It could be Japanese drama, anime, YouTube videos, whatever thing. So for me, I first started by rewatching almost every anime I have already watched in English and Spanish, and then after that I went with the content I wanted to watch for the first time. Don't forget to study the Core 2K Japanese deck, and if you want, I recommend to mine cards in your immersion content, which just simply means to study words you find during your immersion in Japanese. And if you want to know how to do this, I'll be probably making a tutorial, but if you don't want to wait, just Google it because you will find it. And study 20 words from the Core Japanese deck, another 20 words from your mining deck. So that's at least 20 words daily always, and more than 4 to 5 hours of immersion daily if you want to have my same results. So yeah, there is probably 5 to 6 hours of studying daily for 7 months after you start going into full immersion. So I never said it was going to be easy, but that is what it took me. At this point, I can see that I can understand anime with subtitles really easy, so I'm switching right now a bit more to reading and natural content like Japanese drama. And honestly, this is progressing really fast. So that's it for the video. Thank you for paying me your attention, and be sure to give me a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to have more disciplined language learning friends.